Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better brace yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down 3 industry headlines and bring some actual insight into this crazy fucking industry that we are all a part of. Most importantly, though, it's going to be information that you guys can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your businesses and lives. That being said, I do have a guest for you guys today, very special guest. He's been on the podcast. He's out there on the road. He's a professional driver, owner of his company and everything else. And, again, I always want to talk to the drivers. All right. I want that driver's perspective that's on there because although I'm from a trucking family, I've never physically done the job before in driving a truck. And that's why I want to have the hardworking men and women of the road come on here and talk about their experiences and provide their perspectives as well. Because we're all about that 97% of the industry, you guys, that is small business, that is trying to live their American dream. It's why I fly the flag behind me every single day, because I want everybody to succeed out there in this industry. And we need to put that information out there for everybody to do that. One of the main reasons why I'm able to do this every single day is from my friends over at VHub. You guys, check them out, vhubapp.com. Doesn't matter if you're a shipper, broker, or a carrier alike, you need trailers, right? They have a seamless app that's out there right now. And, as well as on their website, check them out, you guys. And because it's like as an owner operator, like my man who's going to be on the show here in a little bit, if his trailer's ever in the shop, he should never have to shut down, right? Now they have an opportunity where you can get on there and do short and long-term rentals on there. But more importantly, you guys can get paid to reposition some of these trailers. So like right now with where we're working on, they have dry vans out in Portland, Oregon, looking to go down to Durant, Oklahoma, and you get paid $550 to do that. That's on top of the revenue that you would get by loading out that trailer. They also have Hurricane Utah going into Durant, Oklahoma as well, $550 to move that. And then they also have trailers down in the Miami area, West Palm Beach, going up to Messina, New York. And you get paid $1,500 to do that. And then they also have one going over into the Milton, Ontario, which is just outside of Toronto. So again, you guys hit them up, vhubapp.com. My friend Stacy Steen and my man Xavier Campos, they will be in the audience here today, and they will help out with any inquiries that you might have. Cody Miller, good fucking morning, sir. Thank you for joining me here today. And now I'm going to bring my man up here, Mr. Lewis,
Hey.
Lewis with Dedicated Trucking. I always throw that. I gotta fucking remember that, man. I'm sorry.
Dude, everyone does it.
Dude, I know, but it's like it's one of those names, man. It's just like it can go either way. Because have you met anybody where their name is spelled Luis that pronounces it Luis?
Well, everyone pronounces it that way because of the spelling. But if it's spelled Lew, then they say Lewis. So
Lewis. Yeah, I got you, man. Well, dude,
thanks
for jumping on today, man.
Yeah, no problem, man.
So what's new? You were on the podcast a while ago, and this is the guy. I don't know if you guys remember this and you guys were listening to that episode, but Lewis was out there getting offloaded doing the interview. And like in the middle of it, he had to pull out of the dock and then go out and he sat on the side of the road while he was waiting. And we finished up the interview out there, man. So like, what's good, man? What's been going on for you?
Well, obviously this week, not too much with brake inspection week going down. What's funny is like when all the inspections hit throughout the year.
Yeah.
Typically that's the time I'll choose to get it in the shop. Like I don't take chances. There's 200 reasons for them to give you a ticket, right? So you want to do your best to just stay on your game. So my trailer's in the shop. As soon as I get off here, the truck's going in the shop. Same thing. It's going to get brakes and everything inspected on the truck. I did this last run. I did about 6,000 miles, in about an 8-day rip. So
dang.
I was running.
Dude, but you know what? And like, I get it. Like it's one of those things, like I think, because I've had drivers who I worked with a lot in my career, but they would always shut down during inspection weeks just because and they're like, hey, listen, they're like, my stuff is up to date. I pass out all of that stuff. I just don't want to mess with it. Because it depends, man. You get some of these hardo DOT officers that are out there. And again, I'm not discrediting what these guys do. Like the DOT officers out there have a job to do, and I get it. But we've all had those experiences, and some of them are like, listen, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to get that tick for tat style that you find yourself with sometimes.
It's a time issue. It isn't so much you're worried about, for me, about my equipment. It's the time. You hit certain scale houses, they might have a team of DOT officers there, but bro, you're in line. You're just number next.
Yeah.
You could wait an hour or two before they get to your truck.
Dang.
Like, you don't have a choice. Once they pull you in, you're on their time.
Can you shut off your clock during that time? While if you're at a scale house and you're waiting in line to get inspected, can you shut your clock off?
Well, I believe that's going to be the exception, because see, I'm paper logs. So
okay,
I have more flexibility with that. But even if you're under ELD, that will be the exception. Yes. But that's a risk you take, right? So, and also if you're running tight with that delivery, you could be late. And like, that's one thing that's a big pet peeve with us is I hate being late. Like, it's just, not an option. So depending on what the business has in the account, I'll run at night if I have to, right? Because if I don't have enough cash in there, I'll just run at night throughout that week. Or if we got enough cash, let's just shut down, get all our equipment checked out. And once it's checked out, then we just go back to work. Yeah,
I get it, man. I get it. Well, dude, I got some people are already in the out. Cody Kohler, LFG, let's fucking go. You are right. Good morning, Drew Driscoll. Let's go. Lucas, huge Monday. Every day is a huge day. I love it. Let's fucking go, Stace. I like it. Julian, good morning. Let's rock it. Zach Williams, what's up, brother? He's with SPI Logistics. Hit him up, you guys, if you guys want to become a freight agent. Hit him up, SPI3PL.com. Cody Miller, yeah, that's right, man. It can be time consumption at best. It's time consumption. Hey, we're also at day 96. This is day 96 of the Freight Coach Tower, you guys, of there being a truck parking issue as well as a facilities issue that's in there. And again, I can sit up here and talk about this stuff, Lewis, but like, what do you see out there from a parking availability perspective? Do you experience a lot of issues or not really?
Bro, this parking thing is very real. So what's funny is like, you'll see truck drivers go straight to Love's. It doesn't matter where they're at. Love's is the very first truck stop, depending on the area. If you see a Love's and you walk in, you pull in that lot before 4 or 5 o'clock, but after 5, it's packed. They're all full. And I'm talking PM.
Yeah.
So petros are typically, you're going to find yourself being able to find a spot better because it's so much larger. But all your Loves, and then pilots are next, right? And then Flying J's. That's a real thing, man. 5 and 6 o'clock, they're packed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pulling in at weird hours of the time of the night into some of these, lots. And I can find me a spot. Because if you think about it, when people do their 10 drivers, they're trying to get in by 6 o'clock or before that. So, most of them trucks are going to sit there for 10 hours before one breaks loose. So, I most of the time would like to get in after that 10-hour, slot. Because I can find slots.
No, for sure.
That way.
So I had a guest on Friday, and he was talking. He's a former driver. He's owned his own trucking company. He's still in the industry, as well. And he was out there. So yeah, there he is, Sonny Sharma. He was on, and he was talking about how like there's a lot of rest areas that are closed and stuff out there. Do you see that as well? Yeah,
there's a lot of, and believe it or not, that's my most favorite place to break down at is a rest stop, because typically you can find a spot, and depending on where you're at, they're pretty safe. Like anymore, depending on what state you're in, some of these truck stops are just sketchy to pull in, man. They'll jack. If it ain't bolted down, it's going to get jacked. Your fuel's going to get jacked depending on what state you're in. So aside from just trying to find a spot, if you're running out of time, you got to worry about your stuff being on the truck when you wake up in certain states. So I like rest stops, but even so, now they're remodeling a lot of those.
Yeah.
So anymore, we can, if we can find spots, that's just where we're going to end up. That's what it boils down to.
No, I feel you, man. I feel you. What about, so like some of these facilities that you're in and out of, are you seeing this at scale? Cause I see some drivers where, they'll DM me pictures out there, and it's like, you can't even like step foot inside the facility. And it's like, again, it's like having to jump. It's like a circus. to even get offloaded at some of these places. Do you see that, or are you running pretty consistently at same facilities in and out where you don't really experience that much?
No, I've been all over. I've experienced everything, man, from poor driver etiquette to poor communication to poor facility usage. Yeah. Unfortunately, like what you run into for the first time, you're going to run into. It's just how you deal with that situation. You hear a lot of what these shippers and customers don't do for the drivers, but I'm going to be honest with you. Drivers need to just be better humans. We need to clean our shit up because a lot of times we trash these places. You can't expect someone, to bite the hand that feeds you. Like you can't, you know what I mean? Like if drivers don't do better jobs of taking care of their rigs, their equipment, themselves, and, you're representing a company. Now, if the company's not taking care of you, I understand. That's something else that needs to be addressed there. But when you go to these customers and they're like, well, all you guys do is trash our offices. Yeah. It's a two-way street.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, man. And I totally get that. I totally get that it's a two-way street. And again, this is why I love hearing different people's perspectives on this, because it's true. Like there is a two-way street that's out there. I also feel like, my perspective is it's like, if you're not going to allow somebody to utilize a restroom, let them drop their trailer and leave, do something along the lines, because I just think that, okay, I'll get to that comment in a second. That just threw me off there. But, yeah, man. But I appreciate your transparency, because again, I think like, and I talk about this where it's like, if we want this industry to get better, we need to be better as a whole.
These mega carriers play a big role in that. I'll be honest with you, man, because there's owners act very different than company drivers do. They just do. Owners are representing. We are the face of the business when we walk in. So how we react is going to play a direct role into how they respond. Right? You give what you get what you give. So a lot of these company guys, I get it. They don't care. They're just there to collect the paycheck, blah, blah, blah. I understand that. But again, that's on the training side of the mega carriers. It's their responsibility to fix that. Yeah,
no, absolutely, man. I like it. Hard no, V, hard no. Sunny Sharma, good morning. Misty Cody Miller says he does support running through Blitz Week, as it has a great chance to save you time down the road. And if you can get a pass and grab a sticker with inspection, you'll be less likely to be detained for the following 12 months and everything else. Yeah, no, I get it. Let me see. Orange Shirt Gang is right. Yeah, that's right. You guys, it's no mistake that my man over here is rocking his orange shirt as well. Cheeses, there's the one. He's got his orange underwear on. It all counts. All right. It all counts. We're the Orange Gang in general. Oh man, you guys are great. Well, hey man, let's get into the first article here today. Let's go over to it. And this is from FreightWaves. It's the FMCSA considers hours of service exemption for truck driver. Applicant cites safety concerns, constitutional rights violations, is seeking a waiver. Federal regulators are considering a company truck driver's request for sweeping exemption from the hours of service and ELD rules, and the public will have a chance to comment. In applying for the exemption, Ronnie Brown III of Waterloo, Iowa-based Gray Transportation contends the one-size-fits-all aspects of the regulation poses safety risks because the rules does not always coincide with his natural sleep patterns. In addition, the hours of service is a mechanism by the government to control my movements, which I view as a violation of my constitutional right to free movement and my right as a human being to make my own choices in life as to my work habits, he states in his application. In its petition notifying the public of the exemption, the FMCSA states that it must publish a notice in the Federal Register. The agency must provide the public an opportunity to inspect the information relevant to the application, including any safety analysis that has been conducted. It's also, I'm going to go on to put this out there, and then I'll get you in on this. Specifically, Brown is seeking a 5-year exemption from the FMCSA regulations, including a 10 consecutive hour off-duty time requirement, 11-hour driving window, 11-hour driving limit, 14-hour driving window, limits of 60 hours in 7 days and 70 hours in 8 days, and ELD regulations. In addition to the safety concerns, it focuses on the effects of the hours of service rules, asserting that they restrict his work hours and how much he gets paid. The 60-70 rule prevents me from working as many days as I want due to not enough hours per regulations. That controls how much money I can make in a week, while out on the road, which equals 8.75 hours a day over an 8-day period. If I work more than that in a day, I will have to sit around at truck stops for 34 hours due to not being able to pick up hours. What's your perspective on a lot of that stuff, man?
Man, to be honest with you, this sounds like a bunch of whining. Okay, so I hear it, but at the same time, it just sounds like it's something for someone to complain about. Like,
yeah.
So if one guy gets a shot at getting this, okay, cool. Knock yourself out. In all reality, if you're that concerned about your HOS, become paper logs.
Get an older truck.
It doesn't sound like he is.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's strapped to an ELD. And even if you are, you can still run 600 plus miles on an ELD a day.
Yeah.
Hard, and you can still run hard that way.
No, I get it. So,
there has to be a rule across the board for everyone to operate by. And, if you have an issue with that, then get you a pre-99 truck.
Yeah. Dude, it's weird because it's like, again, I think that ELDs are, I go back and forth on it because I think it's a good thing. Like, I don't think that it like hurts anything to have an electronic logging device. I think if anything, it can help you in the long run, but it's like, again, I also see how some of these things can prohibit somebody from, making money, but there has to be a rule. Like, you can't, because otherwise it's like, dude, the Wild West, that doesn't work, like you can't, there can't be anarchy out there where people can do whatever the fuck they will. Like, there has to be rules of some sort. I don't believe in big government or big brother fucking operating every ounce of our lives, but I also understand the necessity of having structure, because otherwise what stops people from doing fucking whatever the fuck they want?
Yeah, it seems to be wild how much they regulate trucking, and yet our healthcare system is so underregulated. Like, they don't have laws in place for nurses to work 2 or 3 shifts back to back to back, but they do it in reality.
Yeah.
Now they can work. It's let's regulate that. If we, there's humans working on other humans' hearts.
Yeah.
You're going to work a double shift and throw them in a room for 8 hours on an operation. But that's okay, right? Because that's not regulated. So it's wild what all they want to regulate from one day to the next.
Yeah. And it's yeah, man. It's interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, I definitely want to see how it plays out.
I have an aching suspicion on how it will play out, but you never know. You never know. And it's also like, if they do find that it is in violation of his constitutional rights and it does get to the Supreme Court, which I highly doubt it would, but if it does,
surprises us anymore in this day.
Yeah, nothing fucking surprises me anymore, man. Jesus. Again, it's an interesting article, you guys, for you guys to read. It's FMCSA considers hours of service exemption for a truck driver. It's from freightwaves.com. Again, as every article that I break down, you guys, I put all the links to everything up there on the YouTube channel, The Freight Coach, for the video replay, as well as the audio only replay, Coffee with the Freight Coach podcast. It'll be out there as well, which will be uploaded later today. And as always, you guys, subscribe and share this stuff out if you see value in it. Another article, UStransportnews.com. This came out a couple of days ago. Is America still facing a truck driver shortage? And, it was reported. And again, it's just like, it just keeps going up and up. I don't know what is what anymore when it comes down to, is there a driver shortage or not? I don't personally think there's a driver shortage. I think there's a massive retention issue in this industry. And I think there is a marketing nightmare to get people into this industry. It goes on to say that, first-time drivers, Walmart, okay, this is not a lie. This is a lie. You don't get a Walmart job as a first-time driver of making $110,000 a year. Well, sorry, they prefaced it up to $110,000 a year. But I also, because it goes on to talk about the industry turnover rate. There's a 94% turnover rate in this industry between 95 and 2017. And then according to May of 2021, the numbers of heavy-duty tractors and trailers grew 0.5%, and we're up to 1.9 million nationwide. Light truck drivers also saw an increase of 0.7%, and for truck and ship loaders grew 6.8%. So where are you at with this, man? You're out there on the road every single day. Are you seeing a driver shortage out there? Is it a retention issue? What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely a retention issue. It's a combination of, I don't believe in the driver shortage issue. I believe in a good driver shortage issue, because what happens is good drivers don't feel like they're getting taken care of at where they're at. So they're gone. Mm-hmm. Like they don't need a reason to jump. There's 100 other companies that'll scoop them right up if they have any experience, let alone 1 year. It's, it's the new generation that's coming in. It's like, are we not giving them reasons, opportunities to get in the industry, right? And if we aren't, are we training them? We have to train them. We become products of what we're not taught or what we are taught. So training it has to happen in this industry, man. If you want to keep drivers, that has to happen. That bridging that gap between driver and dispatching, or driver and corporate, it has to happen. It's just the only way to keep drivers.
What do you think from a training perspective? Because you worked for a larger fleet for a while, then you went out on your own. From a training perspective, is there anything that's like, do you think lacking the most?
Well, on a corporate level, what I see driver wise out here on the road, I question them. Like, I do say, how in the hell do these guys get their CDL? People get their CDLs. I always question that. Yeah. Are they not spending enough time in the equipment, right? They're not spending enough time backing, or they're not spending. The way I see them drive, it makes me question that. It's like, how do they get their CDLs? Yeah. Like, how do they hand it to them? But yeah, whether it's mega carriers, they have to have the setup to actually take the time and train your people. You spend enough time training them with the actual equipment, they're going to do well. They're going to stick around if you take care of them. If not, they're going to bounce the second they know their contract's out. If they only got to be here a year, and they're long enough just to get their CDL, then they're out.
No, absolutely, man. And that's the thing to me, is it's like, I just think that there needs to be an emphasis on training, and that's like industry wide, especially from the broker's perspective. Like I guarantee if we polled brokers on what the 60-70 rule was that they were talking about that last article, I would, without being able to Google it and look it up, I guarantee 99% of the people out there would look at you like deer in headlights.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't know. And again, that falls down on training,
exactly. But it's also like, are you seeing it from like, do you think that there is with the amount of time to get a CDL? It's only like 4 weeks, right? Like it's only 4 weeks, essentially 80.
Well, everything changed at the beginning of this year. That new rule went into place stating, you have to go to school now before you get a CDL. Mm-hmm. See, back when I got mine, there was no, there wasn't a school involved. It was, study, do your, all your, and they've lessened the questions of it. So there's a lot more involved now into getting it than there was before last year. So, which I don't know, I think it's good for those who don't have any experience, because if you got experience kind of coming into it, that helps.
Yeah. No, I got you. So I just think that there needs to be, I'm right there with you, man. I think that there needs to be a massive, push for retention. And then I also think we need to market towards that next generation. Like, why would anybody want to come into this industry? And we need to work on that. Like, what's important to a 22-year-old that, or a 21-year-old, the pilot program. Like, what's your opinion on that, man? What's your opinion on the pilot program of the 18 to 20-year-olds being able to get in and be an apprentice, essentially?
I think that's really cool. Get them around the truck, get them around the industry and the equipment. I mean, let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. People, if they get into the trucking industry, it's because they hear money. That's just it. They hear dollars. Mm-hmm. And it's an industry where you can get in without having a degree and make six figures in a year.
Yeah.
It's a realistic thing. But it isn't easy, right? It isn't handed to you. It isn't like something that people can just say, oh, I'm just going to get in a truck, hold the wheel, and I'm going to make all this money. That isn't how it works. But if you get into it and learn it enough, I don't know that I ever leave the industry or ever get out of it. Yeah. Even though I didn't,
you can't.
When I got in, I didn't get in because it's like I wanted to, like, oh, I want to be a trucker. Not at all, dude. I landed in this industry just because at the time, I didn't have a degree. So nothing was paying me enough to support a family, but a CDL. That's the only reason I got it. So I got my Class B. Then I jumped up to the A because, again, chasing money, paid more. And then I learned the industry and then heard what owner ops make, and I just kept going. So if you're ambitious or you're not ambitious, if you want to just, provide for your family, make a good living without having a degree, man, get it in. We'll teach you if you have the will to learn, we'll have the will to teach you.
I just personally think at this point, there's going to be a greater emphasis on the trades than people think, because there's going to be more opportunity. And I think pay is going to go right along with it. It's getting out there and getting your skills up, man, because like as a truck driver, you're never going to go hungry. If you're an active CDL holder, you will always have a job. There is always something that needs to be moved. And, again, I think that it's with us getting out there because like, again, it's the right personality type that is needed, because like, again, like you're going to have those nomads who are like, dude, I'll drive for 4 weeks, 5 weeks away. I don't care. I don't have any family. I just want to be by myself. I want to do my own thing, and then you have the drivers who are like, hey, I want to be home every couple of nights. And then there's the local opportunities. The drivers like, I want to be home every night. There's multiple opportunities that are out there. I think that if anything, as an industry, we're going to see more. I think the Amazon effect is a very real thing. I think we're going to be seeing more and more regional opportunities for drivers. I think that there's essentially going to be there's going to be a major distribution center within 500 miles of each other in any direction, essentially at some point. So I think like it's going to be a lot of that. I don't know if the days of the long haul trucker are going to be necessarily needed anymore. And it's not that there's going to be a desire. I'm not going to say that it's going to be eliminated, but I think like the need to send a load from Seattle to Miami isn't going to necessarily be a thing anymore, because they can get it out of an Atlanta distribution center or something like that. I think that there's just be a shift. I don't know when that's going to happen. But I think that, again, I think that might attract more people in. I think it's like, hey, you're guaranteed home 4 nights a week, but we'll see, man. We'll see on that. That article, you guys, is from UStransportnews.com. Is America still facing a truck driver shortage? And we're not going to get to the third article. But you know what? We'll just end the show here in a couple of things. Let's see. Reed Workman says trucking is competing with every other opportunity available, and it's not exactly entry-level friendly. I know a few former drivers that moved into tech after a few years of driving. Since office jobs frequently come with health benefits, retirement growth, opportunities, it's hard for other industries to compete. I can see that. And that's the thing, is I think that this job applies to a certain personality type, and I also think, like, again, there's so many. I wouldn't have known about trucking if my dad wasn't a driver, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. And I think, like, again, getting into the local high school level and getting those people, because, like, dude, I'm from a town of 1,800 in northern Wisconsin. There are not a lot of opportunities to make 6 figures where I'm from.
Right.
$80,000 a year, might I add, So again, I think like getting out there and getting into that local level would be huge. Louis, buenos dias as well, sir. Michelle LeBlanc says, is any existing freight broker training being offered to educate on topics? No, I think that, frankly, Michelle, in my opinion, most of those training that's out there it's not even about contracts or negotiation. To me, it's just about, here, pick up a phone and dial. Not everywhere. I tried to do my best to not use blanket statements, but I think for the most part, it's about, hey, here's a couple of days in the classroom, get out on the phone and start producing. That's what a lot of it that I've seen out there. But again, I think like that brings out there. And that's why I think, like, me personally, I always work on an operational basis with a lot of people, because like I was fortunate to come up as a carrier sales rep. So I learned the laws, the rules, the regulations, and I was able to apply that as a sales rep. The first time I had a customer come to me and say, hey, I need this 700 miles overnight. And I'm like, yeah, that's not legal. It's got to be on a team. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Why? I would have never picked that up if I was an entry-level sales rep who kind of came in and just started throwing rates out there. I think like there needs to be a fundamental thing. I guarantee you this right now. If I started a freight brokerage, every person who came through, regardless of experience, would go through a 90-day training. Everybody. Because there is a specific way to do this job. And I truly believe in that, man. We just got a couple of minutes left here, Bud. So you're out of Indiana, right? What kind of trailer do you have? Where do you like to run? Because again, man, I want this as an opportunity for you to gain business off of there, and the right brokers, or hell, I know I got some shippers who secretly watch this show. They DM me. So if there's anybody out there, man, like where are you looking to run? What are you having?
Yeah, I've got a 53-foot dry van right now. You know, and I'll be honest with you, I just did a map update. I keep a map in my office. And in the last 2 years, I've crossed 41 states.
Love it.
To just give you an idea of how hard I've ran. I'm out to just chase capital and to grow the business. So anymore, like I said, there's 10 states I have not been to, but Midwest is pretty hot almost all year round for dry van.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'll chase wherever I need to go. You know, so
I think for people to understand his philosophy is go back and listen to the episode that he was on my podcast, you guys, because he, you know, he's been through the ringer in his first couple of years behind the wheel, and he didn't fucking quit. He made it work. He's been through a couple of engine rebuilds, maxed out credit cards. He's out here just trying to provide for his family, you guys. So we need to be out there and rewarding these individuals like him and the countless other hardworking men and women of this industry who literally have everything on the line every single day to make sure I have food at the grocery store when I go in there, and keep the shortage shit off the. That's not the point of that statement right now. I get it. But that's the thing, man. Dude, I just think that, you know, as always, man, I'm cheering for you. You know, we talk, we'll text and everything else. And, you know, if there's anything that I can ever do for you, man, please reach out. And again, anybody out there who's watching right now, put your information out there so people can reach out to you if they have dedicated freight for you.
Yeah, definitely.
How can they reach out to you? What's your email address? And
you can reach me at Luis at dedicatedtrucking.net. Shoot me an email. I'm on LinkedIn, Dedicated Trucking LLC. Message me, whatever. I'll do my best to get to you as soon as I can. But yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, hey, thanks for joining me as always. He'll be back. I'm not going to, this won't be the last time you guys are going to see from him or hear from him at all. That's it for today, you guys. If you guys see value in it, all I can ask is that you share the show. Please, if you see value in it, your network's going to see value in it. And that's how this is all going to continue to grow. We're the Freight Coach Morning Show. We're the top morning show in transportation, coming to you live every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. I appreciate you guys all so much.